So I want to share with you what I consider to be one of the nicest comments I've ever received as a content creator. One of the nicest ones. And I received this comment on my end times video. That's an interesting video to receive. One of the nicest comments I've ever received on the topic being the end times. It's kind of funny in a way, don't you think? Maybe just a tad bit, So this video itself isn't an end times video. This is about a comment that I received on my first end times video that I made. So let me go ahead and share this comment with you. I read this comment and it's a nice comment. So the comment says, "Hey man, you seem really shaken in this video, so I sincerely hope you're doing alright. This world is pretty terrifying and certainly overwhelming, so I wish for you and for all of us to find the small comforts where we can. I'm not a man of faith, but I still believe we can make it through." I read that comment and I thought to myself, I said nice before. This is, I'd say, one of the kindest comments I've ever received in my entirety of the time that I have been a content creator or over the internet receiving comments. This is one of the kindest ones. You seem really shaken in this video, so I sincerely hope you're doing alright. This world is pretty terrifying and certainly overwhelming. So I wish for you and for all of us to find the small comforts where we can. I'm not a man of faith, but I still believe we can make it through. There is something about that. Someone that may not share the same beliefs as you. They may not even be one that believes in a higher power, and, higher power, capital G. They may not be one that even believes, but they're still in even with that, they're still extending an olive branch, so to speak. That's a really kind thing for a person to do. And I really appreciate that comment. It's such a kind comment. And I really appreciate it. I really appreciate that comment. It's so kind. such a kind comment. I didn't expect to receive such a kind comment on that video about the end times, but I did. Thank you for that comment. And I wrote a reply to that comment. Oh boy, my eyes. I wrote a reply to that comment, and I would like to read my reply to you. The reply that I wrote. Truly thank you for that comment. That's such a kind comment. You've done a kind thing for me there by writing a comment such as that, your words. It's so kind. It's so kind. So my reply to that was, thank you for that, and I appreciate your concern. It's nice that you're able to stretch out an arm despite not being a man of faith. There are many people who are incapable of doing that and can only do black and white thinking when it comes to the matter. Or in other words, they mentally go, I'm going to completely write this person off because they believe in something I don't or can't agree with, which is, it's certainly one way to live your life. And then I went on to say, do you know the story of Ignaz Semmelweis? He was the man who invented, or we could say, proposed, the practice of hand washing in hospitals. He was a physician and scientist. Now, what happened, what his story is that people were so offended that at his suggestion of washing their hands before interacting with patients that they rejected and openly mocked him for it. He was ridiculed and ostracized for these views, and he eventually left his position working in a hospital as a result of it. They didn't renew his contract. That's why he left the position. Sometime later, he was committed to a mental institution where he was severely beaten, and this beating, or beatings, if there are multiple, if there is more than one, caused a wound on his hand, which went on to become infected. That wound then led to him dying of sepsis. He died 14 days after he was committed to that mental institution. Now, here's the irony. The presence of sinks and hand-washing agents, sanitizers, and hand-washing protocol in hospitals today are a result of Ignaz Semmelweis, his research, and the legacy that he left behind. During his life, he was mocked, laughed at, ridiculed, ostracized, lost his job, was called crazy, suffered a nervous breakdown, possibly suffered a nervous breakdown, was put in a mental institution, severely beaten, and died as a result of an infection from said beating. And today, there are multiple hand-washing stations in every hospital worldwide because of him. How's that for something? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make with that story is that we can sometimes learn something by not writing people off completely just because we don't agree with them or because we can't necessarily see eye to eye with them. Now, I'm not saying that I'm right. Of course, this was an end times video. Now, I'm not saying that I'm right. I even said in a comment, I'd like to be wrong. But it's good to keep a somewhat open mind about things, regardless of how it is that a person may feel about it on a personal level. And then I went on to say, rest assured that I am doing quite well. I am better than I've ever been in my entire life, so there's absolutely nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing to worry about. Seeking small comforts and ignoring the bigger picture are unfortunately how we got here in the first place. Complacency can sometimes be a dangerous thing. It's not something that we or they should continue to do. Because, well, it's pretty much how we got here in the first place. So, not something we should continue to do. Complacency can sometimes be a dangerous thing. So for those that are capable, and the key word is capable, it's not something that we or they should continue to do. I wrote a quote from the Bible at the bottom of the post on my other channel, and I wrote that quote again here, and the quote is, "If the world hates you, remember that it hated me first." And that's John 15:18. I wonder, and I went on to say, if the world hates you, remember that it hated me first. I wonder if Ignaz Semmelweis was a man of faith. I looked it up. I just looked it up, and apparently he was. And I wrote the Google search AI overview, which says, yes, Ignaz Semmelweis was a man of faith. He grew up Catholic, attended Catholic schools, and was sometimes criticized by medical colleagues who attributed his superstitious hand-washing ideas to his Catholicism. Though his work was fundamentally scientific, focused on empirical observation and proving the transmission of cadaverous particles to prevent childbed fever. And then I went on to say, I don't personally believe in Catholicism, not too close with that one personally, nor do I share all of the views held by their church, but I do like to sometimes listen to sermons given by Catholic priests. Sometimes. A good message is a good message, regardless of where it comes from. Thanks again, and I sign off there. Be well, and God bless. Yeah. So, I just wanted to share that with you. That was one of the kindest comments I've ever received. It's such a kind comment. It's such a kind comment. Yeah. I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you. Thank you.